The kind of horse that we saw last fall, right?
You know, we thought he'd come back and run a really good race again. I guess, you know, the last day, you know, guys, I think he maybe didn't learn an awful lot last year. And today, I loved how he battled. I mean, he looked at the head of the straight like he was going to fold, and he didn't fold. And I think it's a good sign for the future. I think he's a horse that can still improve. Luan said he jumped a shadow. He jumped 2 or 3 shadows in the race. He said, especially somewhere coming up the straight.
He's not wearing a shadow.
And he said he's not, Marcus. You know, we had the blinkers. We thought it was enough. We can't exactly put a whole lot more on him. But no, we're proud of him. I mean, he ran well. We'd have loved to have won. I thought he had held on, but you know, hats off to Ian's horse. He ran a good race too, and you know, like I said, we're proud of him, and it's nice to see him run a race like that. You know.
Assuming you have enough points, do you go to the Derby?
Right, we'd have to seriously consider it, right? So we'll see. We'll go back and we'll talk among ourselves and see what we do. But I love what I saw today. I mean, like I said, we're a little disappointed we didn't win, but it's the next best thing. At least he showed up today, and you know, he's the horse we've always thought he was.
Michael, and your thoughts on East Avenue today?
Look, we're just delighted that he showed up today and showed what he could do. We've always thought he had the world of talent, and disappointed the last day. So, you know, Brendan looked under every stone and we couldn't find it, and the horse was great, and we said we'd roll on and back to where he's won his grade 1 and see if he could do it again. And I think Luan gave him a great ride, gave him every opportunity, and you know, just come up a tiny bit short. So pleased, proud of the horse, pleased for Team Walsh getting them there again, and we'll see what we do again. You know.
So you've got 2 horses with enough points to run in the Derby. You got Sovereignty, and then of course this horse as well, and they both have complementary styles.
Mm-hmm. No, absolutely. So but we'll talk about it and see what the right thing is, and hopefully he comes out of race well, and then we'll come up with a game plan, and you know, a little bit closer to the Derby running on the Tuesday than we would have been last Saturday, but I don't think that'll have a big effect. But yeah, it was probably a good race today, a good prep race. Maybe one of the stronger ones that we've seen. I know the one in California looked like it was good, but it sort of fell apart. And so I think there were some nice horses in here today that showed up. So he'd be one of them.
For both of you, did you ever waver in your confidence in this horse off his last 2 races? You knew what he did in his first 2 races, but his last 2, did it ever waver?
He's always shown enormous talent, Jenny, you know, like as much talent as any good horse we've ever had. You know, but of course there was question marks, especially after the last day. We kind of forgave him the Breeders Cup with the stumble and all, but you know, he probably, you know, today is the first time he's really had to fight and fought, and I don't know that he just didn't really know how to fight before, you know, but he's answered every question. You know, we brought him back, and we put him through the ringer pretty good after the last race, and he answered every call, and I think he just about answered every call today as well. You know?
We've seen horses.
Well, we've had him here, Marcus, so we'll bring him back there if, you know.
He'll stay here for now?
Probably just for a little while. We haven't really thought about it, but he'll go back and do his works going into the Derby back there.
We've seen young horses when they stumble, that especially the one post in the Breeders Cup before, and I don't know, mentally it just seems like they're never the same horse. It's got to be a relief though, this partly too.
Yeah, no, for sure. You know, all them things go through your head. But look, he came back here, and Stevie that rides him all the time made a comment that he just felt like he got over this track so much better and everything, and I think he just you know, we saw the real horse today, and I think he can improve, as funny as it might sound, I think he can improve off of today as well.